Hello traders, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'll be showing us how to draw trend lines and how to get good trade opportunities from drawing trend lines. So you can see from my chart, you can see how I was riding this trend using trend lines, and you see how price respects trend lines. So trendline is a very powerful tool in which many traders don't yet know. Support and resistance in price is not only found horizontally. Sometimes you find diagonal support and resistance like this, and you can use trend lines to help you know where there's a support and resistance that is a diagonal support and resistance. So you can see that as price moves up, it hits this trend line, comes, and then it respects just as the trend line moves. That's why we call diagonal support and resistance. So I've won good trade opportunities. I've been trading with this strategy for a while, and I'm going to show you. It's very nice because you can use it in whatever type of market you are trading. So I'm using volatility index to show you, but you, after watching this video, you'll be able to use the strategy in any market that you see. So just make sure that you hold on till the end, and then after you see the result. Okay, let me show you. Let me go to the pair in which I've not yet analyzed, and I'll show you how to draw trend lines effectively and properly. You see how price respect. Okay, let me start with volatility 75. When you are drawing a trend line, for instance, you remember you have to draw a trend line. Means that it is following a trend, meaning that you can draw a trend line. You use the trend line only when the market is in a particular trend. When the market is in an uptrend or in a downtrend, that's when you use the trend line strategy. So you cannot use it when the market is ranging. And when we say a market is in a trend, we mean that the market is forming, for instance, this market, as we can see here, price is forming higher lows and higher highs. So this market is in an uptrend. You see, this is a higher low, price went up, formed a higher high, came back, formed a higher low, went up, formed a higher high, and it will come back to form a higher low. That's how it will continue and continue. So we call this an uptrend. So I will show you how you can use a trend line. It's very simple but very vital. When you want to draw a trend line, you are connecting a low. Let me say you are connecting the peaks, or you are connecting the troughs for an uptrend. So let me show you. You see many examples. I'm going to show you this volatility 75 index. This one now is in a downtrend. You can see I'm just trying to show you the trending nature so that you should know when you can use the trend line. You see it forms lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and you see that the market is slanting downwards, is going downwards. So when you want to draw a trend line, you are connecting these peaks. You are connecting these peaks. You see, this is a peak up here, this is a peak here, this is a peak. You are connecting them with a trend line, and when you connect the first two, you discover that from the third peak, from the price action, when price comes up the third time, there's a high probability that you will respect that trend line that you drew. So when you want to draw, you take the first peak, you connect it. All right, you take the trend line, you drag from your first peak, you connect it, you draw it just as I'm indicating with my crochet. You connect with the second peak. See that you make sure that the trend line touches the wicks of the candle. The first and the second peaks are always very important. We are using a downtrend as an example, because when you connect the first and the second, that's what determines what happens to the next. So even if the trend line cuts through the wicks of candles from the third, the fourth, there will be no issues, but the first and the second is very important. So let me show you. Let me try to pick up one and draw. So when you want to do that, you go to your toolbox, you click on the surface of your screen, then you click on this a drop down arrow on this section of the screen, on the right side of the screen, a drop down button. You click after the F. If you can see, there's an icon that look like F. So you click the one that is after this. So when you click, it's going to take you here, and then you click on the plus button, click on the plus that is on the top right hand side of the screen. When you click there, it can take you to your trend lines, but as you saw, there were already trend lines here. So you can see this is a trend line that is slanting upwards and then is slipping a little bit like this diagonal line here. So you click on it. Once you click on it, it is activated. You just bring it to your chart and then you start drawing. So if you have a small screen, you can zoom out to the maximum. All right, so you pinch your screen and then you zoom out to a maximum. So when you are drawing, you adjust it. You make sure you adjust it to touch very well, so you can notice. So you see how I've drawn the first peak. All right, I've connected it. I make sure that the line touches the top of the wick. Then the second one, the line touches the top of the wick. All right, so from the third, even if it comes down a little and cuts across this wick, there's no problem, but the first and the second is what determines. All right, so you can see how I have drawn that. Okay, so let me show you now. Jesus. So now let me zoom in my screen. You can now see how powerful it is. You see how price has tend to respect this trend line. You can see that up here. You see that when price came up, it came and hit, it came up, it came and hit. You see that there was a reversal candlestick, and whenever it comes up and hit, now you see a reversal candlestick. You see that price has been rejected here. It means that there is a diagonal resistance here. You can see how price is reacting here. So when it comes up now and hit here, you can take a sell order if you see a rejection candle. And when you want to place your stop loss, you place your stop loss above, somewhere around here, and then down here you place your TP around the previous low. This was the previous low that was here. Okay, so we are assuming that price was still around up here. So now you see that this was the previous low at that moment. So this is where you'll be placing your stop, your take profit, and then your stop loss should be above the trend line. So you can see how beautiful this it looks just simple, but it's not complicated, but it's very powerful. So you can see from here, just imagine that you connect. This was the first, the second, the first up here that you connected. This is the second peak. So you see from here, you see that you could have gotten opportunities. You enter, it's a high likelihood that price will still get rejected here, and then we will sell. Let me go to a next example and I'll show you. This is volatility 100. Okay, this is another example. Let me show you how to draw a trend line here. Just like we have said, you connect the first and the second peak. You see that this market is in a downtrend, so you draw. You can see from here that if you have connected the first and the second, so just take note of how I'm drawing my trend lines. I'm drawing them to touch these peaks. Okay, you can see that here now. You see that an opportunity has already presented itself here. You see that when price came up here, there was a rejection. You can see it clearly that as price came here, there was a rejection. Price came up now for the third time and then got a rejection candle here. You see how price hit back down. So you see how powerful this trend line. So if we were to take a trade, we'll take a trade here, place our stop loss above here, and then what our TP will be where's previous low. Okay, let's go to let me show you another example. This is another example, volatility 50. You can see that this market is in an uptrend. So when you just zoom, you know that here you can use your trend line without any disturbances. Okay, so you pick your trend line, you connect. Okay, all right, you can see. So take note of the first and the second zones. Like I said, you can see, as I've taken, this is the first trough. Here in this case it's a trough because the market is in an uptrend. This is a trough, it's no longer a peak. This is the, see how I've drawn it. The first and the second, they are also important because it will determine the third. It's from the third touch that you now start looking for an opportunity. So you can see that from the third, price still came and respected. Look at it. You see that price came here and then respected, and then okay, look at what I was telling you, that when you see a rejection, you take a buy here in this case, which is an uptrend, right? If you, so you see that you have drawn the first, it has come and touched this. You have connected the first and the second trough. Now you are waiting for the third touch. This is the third touch. You are waiting for the third touch. This is the third touch that happened, and then you enter here. You place your stop loss below here, and then your TP is at the previous peak here. So you look at this zone because we are still considering that price was still around here. So this was the highest level for the moment. Okay, so you don't want to be greedy. You place your TP here. You entered here. You place your stop loss here. You place your TP at the previous higher high where price was. So you see that if you had taken this trade, you would have won. You see, you went up and then it hit your TP here. So this was the third touch. Now you can see price is now at the fourth touch, and you see how it is forming. So the candle, this is a 1 hour candles, it has not yet closed, and I believe that by the time it closes, you will see that this body of this candle will be pushed right up here and there will be another rejection. So there's still a possibility that we will still enter here, place our stop loss below, and then our TP will be at the previous higher high. So that's how this strategy works. You can see from the few examples I've given you, you see how the trend line, how price tends to respect trend lines. So that's what we call horizontal diagonal support and resistance. So coming back to the first image I showed you when I started the video, you can see the power of trend lines. Just look at how I've used trend line to get good trade setups. Look at how price is respecting trend lines. See, you can see for yourself. Just look. You see how I've had opportunities upon opportunities upon opportunities. Look, just take a look here. You can see this, guys. This is a very powerful strategy that I've just given you. Even though you can see here, I've done a little bit of advance. I'm using diagonal and I'm using diagonal support and resistance as well as horizontal support and resistance. I'm doing multiple time frame analysis. So I've started with you somewhere. I started with the trend line videos because I wanted to show you how to draw trend line first. So in the next videos we'll be advancing as time pass by. So in the next video I'll start showing you how to combine trend line with other support and resistance. I'm going to show you multiple way of analyzing a trade using many tools, trend lines and many others. So make sure that you just follow up my videos, and then you at the end you see that your trading life has changed, has taken another dimension. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Click on that notification bell so that if I upload any video, you'll get notified. Please make sure that you practice the trend line. Drawing trend line is not that hard, but it's not hard, but it might not be simple for someone who is learning for the first time. So you just make sure that you practice on a demo account so that you should get used to drawing trend lines and you see how sweet this strategy is. Thank you. See you in the next video.